Today, the funeral of one of Britain's most notorious killers takes place. Gangster Ronnie Kray, who terrorised London's East End with his twin brother Reggie, died after collapsing at Broadmoor Hospital over a week ago. Martin Bazell now joins us live from the scene of one of the Krays' most violent crimes. There we see him. Martin, will Ronnie Kray go to his grave as a folk hero or a villain?
Good morning, Eamon. Yes, as you say, we're here in London's East End, and this is a very important morning, certainly for the Krays, the morning that they bury Ronnie Kray, and by and large, for a lot of people here in the East End, he's going to go to his grave a hero. They say that it's certainly safer to walk the streets in the 1960s than it was now, and certainly some crime statistics would back that up. But of course, you have to remember that the crimes that are now being committed are mainly drug-related in this part of London. There were no drugs in those days, and people say, had the Krays still been around, run their manor, as the firm was, as Ronnie was known as a colonel, had they been around in these 90s, would they have been drug gang overlords themselves? We're here at the Blind Beggar pub. This is the scene of Kray's infamous killing. In March 1966, he heard that another small-time crook, George Cornell, had called him, excuse the language, a fat poof, because Ronnie was a homosexual. That was enough for Ronnie to come here and basically blow George Cornell's brains out. The following year, let's not forget Reggie Kray, who's out of jail this morning to bury his brother. Reggie Kray murdered Jack the Hat McVitie, along with Ronnie's help. And what did they do? Well, they lured him to a party, put on the sound of music at high volume to drown out his screams. These are the kind of people we're talking about. They ruled this part of the East End of London with a reign of fear.
The campaigners and celebrities will come today to praise Ronnie Kray and to bury him, laid to rest beside his mother Violet, a matriarchal figure whom the twins idolized. They could do no wrong in her eyes, and in those of other EastEnders who conveniently ignored the protection rackets and violence, and who backed the Krays' claim of innocence, a claim first heard in 1965.
It's cost us roughly £8,000.
And how do you feel about that?
Most of them are not sure I did spend that money for no reason for me.
Does it leave you broke, or how does it leave you?
It doesn't leave us broke, but at the same time it's a lot of money to have to pay out when money's innocent, you know.
The Cockney Capones were finally convicted of a murder each in 1969 to serve at least 30 years. But even this week, from behind bars and Maidstone prison, Reggie Kray was defiant.
No, I'm not so sorry.
No remorse?
Pardon?
No remorse at all for
what? For what?
Well, for people who were victims of you and your brother, for people who were victims of protection rackets.
No, well, I disagree with you entirely. There was never such thing as a protection run by me and my brothers. That's a fallacy. And, it's just a ridiculous question.
You never demanded money from people to look after them?
People used to ask us if we would protect places, which we did. But, we're going away from the area of what you asked me to speak to you about. You asked me to speak about my brother's funeral. Now you're going away. You're writing a book almost, aren't you?
No, we're just trying to...
I think we could tell this discussion, shall we?
And that was the end of my conversation with Reggie Kray. We're inside the Blind Beggar pub now, and sadly the bullet hole is no longer in the wall. It's been covered over certainly several years ago, but this is still on the tourist trail for Japanese and Australians in particular. As part of the Jack the Ripper trail, pardon, that comes around here to show you this is the place where Kray killed Cornell. Now, with me is Lenny Hamilton, who was one of Ronnie Kray's victims. I was just talking to Reggie Kray there earlier on this week, Lenny, and he was saying to me that they never ran a protection racket at all. Is that your recollection of the Krays?
No, they did, and people were in fear of them. And I think if they'd have stayed out of prison, there would have been a lot more murders, and there would have a lot more people paying protection money.
And briefly, what did they do to you?
Well, Ronnie got me up there from the oldest barn in Knight Street and burnt me with pokers. And that's the reason I'm nearly blind in my left eye today.
Purely because you'd...
all it was over, I was getting a drink and I called a girl love. I've never hurt anybody in my life, you know.
But mythology, or certainly the Krays, would have us believe that they were kind to old ladies and children.
Well, I've never seen them. You know, I think that's a bit of a myth, you know. But still, they're bound to say that, isn't it, to get sympathy from people.
Will you be going along to the funeral today?
I'll be getting drunk today. You know, that's one thing I'll be doing.
You mean celebrating?
Yeah. But I think you don't like to see people die, no one does. But I'm glad he's dead. I can't feel sorry for him. How can I feel sorry for him? He burnt me with pokies. He's ruined my life. I have nightmares still now. So how can I feel sorry for him?
Okay, Ray, thank you very much. There you go. I mean, at least one person here, and there are several more in this part of the world who are not sad to see the demise of Ronnie Kray, at least.
But nonetheless, Martin, I presume a lot of people will be turning out for the funeral today. Where will that be? And do we have any idea how many people are expected to line the route?
Well, certainly I was there last night at Chingford Cemetery, where the grave diggers have dug Ronnie's 6-foot hole. That's where he will be buried this afternoon, around about 2 o'clock, 2:30. They're promising a traditional East End funeral, the like of which has never seen before. They're talking about 6 black horses with plumes drawing a hearse, which will be followed by more than 20 Daimler limousines, filled no doubt with campaigners for not just Ronnie's release, but also Reggie's release now, of course, because he's still serving his 30-year sentence, along with celebrities too. Some celebrities, no doubt, who star in modern-day soaps. Youngsters who weren't even born during the reign of the Krays, but who for some reason believe that he served his time and should get out. There's also talk that the routes will be lined through Bethnal Green up towards Chingford by many EastEnders who are sad to see them go, who say that certainly it was safer in their day when the Krays were around than it is now. But certainly people at Lenny here will be shedding no tears for the passing of Ronnie Kray.
No doubt we'll get reaction throughout the programme this morning, but for the moment, Martin, thank you very much indeed. Lenny, thank you very much indeed. Martin Giselle there, and Lenny Hamilton from the Blind Beggar pub in the East End of London.
With your passion